Which combiner did it better? Let's talk about it. Rodimusbill here, and today I thought we'd take a look at the Age of the Primes Superion, take a look at how it compares to the Combiner Wars, and take a look at Legacy Menasor and how everything fits. First, we're going to take a look at Superion, and I do think this is the best Superion. Now, the back legs don't bother me. You can see from the profile here, it's not too bad. In person, it's not too bad. Then you get to the back, of course, Silverbolt is going to have that, I don't think there's any way you can get rid of this big thing unless you pop it off. But still, I like the arms. Now, I think these arms were good for Menasor, but I think they're still too thick right here. If they could just get them a little smaller for the arms. But all in all, he's still got a pretty good silhouette. I think it's pretty neat. Now, let's take him off the turntable. Let's bring in Combiner Wars Superion. Yeah, these are kind of too big for my little thing here, so I gotta improvise. All right, so here is Combiner Wars. Yeah, I guess I should have switched around Skydive or Fireflight, but those are now. You can see the big differences, and they kind of kept the same color scheme, the yellow on the thighs. You got the white, and the red, the Autobot symbol, the face. I think I like this face more than this one. But you could see how the problems they had of actually using this guy as the whole arms. Because it's the legs, on these, it's the actual two legs and arms. So if you want to get that, if you wanted to get that elbow, you'd have to have the whole body compared to actually having separate arms. But still, and this was different Superion. The original G1, you had Silverbolt's legs. This guy, if you look at it, he's upside down. These are Silverbolt's arms. His head would be there and his legs here. So they radically changed it for Combiner Wars, as opposed to not even having him as the real torso this time. And the only thing real is this part, the arms, and most of the chest unit. But this, they went for a more toon accurate. I mean, this is just like right out of the cartoon, especially the red and black, which I never noticed that when I was a kid. I always noticed Skydive and Air Raid in the back, but I never noticed, though, they always had the red and black. And I know in Combiner Wars, they switched these around. So if you had them like that, it would look like two robots crouching down. I mean, the Combiner Wars was good for what it did. It was a lot of a good upgrade to G1, obviously. But, I mean, they tried the funny stuff like the weapons in the hands and the feet. They try to do, but they're all compatible. You can make them, you can make them the arms and the legs, as opposed to now you could only keep Slingshot and Fireflight as the arms and Skydive and Fireflight as the legs, when before on Combiner Wars you couldn't. And originally they didn't have Slingshot. They had Alpha Bravo. And plus these were kind of like futuristic jets, and these are the old 80s jets. You got the F-4 Phantom, the Harrier, the F-16, the F-15, and the Concorde. And these are just like, hybrids of what they used to be. And, so that's what they look like. We'll do the backs. We'll flip this guy over. And of course, you got Silverbolt's hands right here sticking out. Still, there's not much you can do because he's a big jet. You know, in the arms, you could see that's like the robot sticking over. And I did like how they flipped the combiner ports so you don't do their heads. But, so that was pretty cool. So, now if you wanted to, some people do switch these. Now, if you wanted to switch these around, which, let's see. And we can just pull these out and then switch them around. The cockpits get in the way. So there's that one. It's hard to do with the camera in the way, but I mean, these things are so big. But here you get, now this would be the actual, oh, and these little feet things, yeah, you flip around. So this will be the actual comparison to, and actually it doesn't look that bad. So, whoop, yeah, this thing's very rickety. You know, I mean, at first I didn't like doing the skeleton. I could see why they did the skeleton for Menasor, because Motormaster is a literal truck. And that don't look too bad. Like I said, that doesn't look too bad, but all right, let's just get rid of him for a minute. And let's bring in Menasor. Now I finally found my Stunticons. If you're new to my videos, I had flooded last year during Hurricane Elaine, and I had thrown all my Transformers in totes. And all I had was Motormaster, and today I just went looking for all my other Stunticons, and I found them. So now I actually have the two sets. Now I could show you. These are not compatible. In a way, they are. Here, let me put this camera over here. There you go. Now I can work on it. So, if you're going to take, like, Slingshot, right, and then Dead End, all right, they both have that gimmick where this thing pops it in two, but you can see these two big tabs, ports, don't fit. They don't go together because there's no way you could put this on here, because that would have to go in there, and then these go this way. Meanwhile, the holes go. So these aren't compatible, okay? And again, Slingshot is not compatible to here. But if you bring in the Vortex figure, all right, because the Combaticons are next, you can combine the Combaticon figure to Superion, and Vortex fits. And both will fit either way. Here, we'll take this one off the leg. So, and then this will fit right there on the leg. Phone call. See, so the Vortex can fit on Superion's arm. So I'm hoping they're all compatible, including the legs. But I don't know about the legs though, because unless, because you know, Bruticus, I think that Swindle and Brawl are gonna attach to the front and not the back. So maybe there's a way that you could do it. But I mean, they made the arms compatible, so why not do the legs? Now, so let's get this guy off and get Slingshot back on here. Now, that's why I said they are compatible and they're not compatible. You can't put them on like you can't. They should have done this before. But, I mean, they should have thought of this before. Let's get this guy back on. Right there. And Slingshot. Now, what you can do, all right, is you can take the arm off, all right, and we'll take the arm off this guy. Whoa, it's a big setup for these guys. Now these, look at that. These are almost the same. So you can actually put that arm on there. I mean, it's not a perfect fit. Oh, no, I can't move my arm up. I'm having arm problems too. There you go. It's not a perfect fit. Let's try. There. So, you know, dead end is on this arm. And for some reason, it must be the way, there we go. It must be the way these are designed. But see, I mean, they're not, like I said, they're not completely accessible. The problem is, I think Menasor, yeah, it's a little, they're not quite the same. They're a little different. But all I know is, yeah, this guy won't fit in here. I mean, that's about as best you're gonna get. You can still cross. Now, dead end works a lot better, obviously. But then, if we switch the legs out, let's try to switch our legs out. And let's see. We'll lay him down. He's easier. The Superion is out of the two different ones. Superion is the superior one. Menasor is just too bulky and there. So it doesn't look like they're exactly. If you use them both. Oh, you know what? And they have that one. No. There you go. So here is you got the legs are done. Up, and that's backwards. That's what happened. So let's do this. My bad. I don't want to break anything. There you go. So you can kind of put them together like that, but they're a little like this. Menasor is a little taller than Superion, but you know, there is some cross compatibility. Not much, but there doesn't need it. It's not like the older ones where you could just, you know, you can just change them all around. You could even put them on the old Metroplex. But it's funny. This is the first time I've had Menasor out in over a year, and I forgot how to do. I forgot how to do all the components. I had to think about it for a minute. There. The Menasor is a little taller. I don't have any of the upgrade kits, so that's not a problem. I don't normally buy the upgrade kits. Oh, you know what? Let's get back to our normal bots. There. So we got that, and we've got there this guy back. All right, so as we compare them, there. All right, so height to height, I think the Menasor is going to be a little taller. And I know one of mine broke off too the first week because these things bend back. They only bend one way. And I know the upgrade kit, but I didn't want to buy the upgrade kit. Hey, if anybody has just this little piece that you could 3D print me or sell me, let me know. Because I do need one. I don't want to buy the whole upgrade kit. But feel free to leave a comment. But, you know, and Menasor, again, I can see why they did it. Because Motormaster was, you know, his cab should be the same height as Prime. And yet it was the whole body. He kind of shrunk. So, I mean, they're real close in size. Let me get them both in. They're they're real close in size. You know, and the only difference is, like, with Menasor, these cars actually were up and down. They weren't like this. And here, how they, I know I have these wrong, but I forgot how to do them on the feet. You know, but the cars are up and down like that, and they just like stuck to it. So, but still, these are a lot better than the Combiner Wars and even the G1. So I'm happy, and I can't wait to get. See, now I had the aerial bots and the Stunticons when I was a kid, so I do have the G1s, and then I got G1 of Defensor. But I never got the Combaticons or Computron. So I think for the Age of the Primes, I'm going to get Bruticus, and if they come out with Computron, I'm going to get Computron. I'm going to skip the Protectobots for now. I mean, these things get so expensive. Now they're going to raise the prices too. But still pretty good. And if you want to compare these guys, aerial bots. Show them what you got. Here is Optimus Prime, Rodimus Prime, and, you know, compared to that. And, of course, articulation. The arm does 360 degrees. And look at that. That goes out like that. I like these fold. It's got 360 degrees rotation. The wrist rotates. Pretty nice. He does have a little waist rotation. Not much, but a little. And then the other arm is the same way. I like these little hip skirts. And then you got, I wish they had a ratchet on the leg, but it's a soft ratchet. You got, whoops. And then you got back all the way. And then you can do the whole split. Here, that's a ratchet. Thigh rotation and 90 degree. If you do it the right way, you can do 90 degrees. And then the ankles, they go that way, and you can disengage it. I thought you can disengage it. Yeah. Well, it's kick up, but it won't do down. And then if you want, you can have these in the back either out, or you can, you know, close them, but they just help them stand. So that is their Superion. And then Menasor. Again, you got full rotation here. That's all. That's nice. 90 degrees. You got rotation there. Their wrists rotate. Their hands are the same. And these things never snap in right. You got the whole waist, but no ratchet at all, though. I don't like that. See, his feet, you got loud ratchets on his feet. Listen to those feet. And listen to these. You barely have any ratchets on the feet, on Superion, on the legs. But this guy's got a lot of ratchets. And then 90 degrees. Whoops. Dang, come on, Menasor. Then you got the thigh rotation, and then of course with the feet, you got some ratchet on the feet. And the only thing that Menasor 2 has got big knees. I don't understand why they did these big thick knees. You know, I almost like want to put them down, but they're not so thick. But they are pretty thick. And I know these don't snap in. See, that just rests in there. So, but all in all, I mean, you know, and you have extra pieces with Menasor. You don't with Superion. So that's, there, just stick that in the back right there. You know, you got the sword. So you got the sword, and you got the gun, and then you got Silverbolt's weapon. But all in all, not bad at all. So I thought I'd do just a quick rundown of the Legacy Superion versus Menasor, because I haven't had Menasor to really do a good comparison with all my my bots. So, and also what I did too is, if you notice, I can keep the guns in, but I take the two guns here used to hit each other. So what you can do is put them right there. They fit nice and they don't come out. So that way you can have the feet there, you know, and these other ones you can just have anywhere. And also, some people put the guns up here because they'll fit in there. But I think they fit good right there. And so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you keep all the guns on him. And then Menasor, I got that guy's guns. I got this guy's guns. I don't have any breakdowns, and I got one a dead end because they're all thrown in a tote. And I didn't have time to go looking through the whole tote, so I just grabbed what I wanted. And that is Legacy Menasor and Age of Primes Superion. Of course, my favorite is Superion because when I was a kid growing up, my two favorite ones are Rodimus and Superion, my two favorite characters of all time. That's why the channel's Rodimusbill. And I just love Superion. The jets were cool. I was a kid in the 80s. I grew up with all those jets. The F-14, the F-4 Phantom, the Harrier jet. It's a British jet, actually. Vertical takeoff and landing, this guy. You know, F-15 Eagle and F-16 Falcon. It's funny because, you know, on the cartoon, he's like, I'm the sleekest, fastest jet you'll ever see. But actually, he's not. He's probably the slowest jet out of all of them. But he's got vertical takeoff and landing, so that's pretty cool too, although he never used it. Alright, so that is it. I actually wanted to do this with the Combiner Wars, but I got Menasor instead, so I kind of changed the way this video went. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my videos. If you can buy me a coffee, click that link, or if you want to support the channel, hit the thanks button. I still don't have, I got to replace all of my shelves that got water damage last year. I had to throw everything out. We had 2 feet of water in the house. And I had all my Transformer boxes boxed up, and I lost half of them are soaked. And it's like, what are you going to do? You know, at least I got them. I still saved them, but I did save all my Transformers. Like I said, but they're in totes. It's going to be a while, and once I start fishing them out, I'm going to have weapons galore. I got to figure out what to do with them. Well, that's what the internet's for. All right, like and subscribe. Help the channel. All that good stuff. And so far, I do like these new combiners, and I can't wait for Broodkiss. I know Blastoff and Brawl are next. We haven't seen Swindle yet, and we've seen a deco of, or an art silhouette of Onslaught, but we haven't seen the real Onslaught. And I'm curious, how are you going to do a tank and a Jeep as 2 legs? All right, Rodimusbill out.
Optimus Prime! My cars have a secret which will rip your puny planes right out of the sky! Start the guns! Unite! Behold! Menasor!
Jumping jet streams!
Aerial bots, show 'em what you've got! No! It can't be! Surprise, Megatron! Meet Superion!